Ladies and gents, welcome back. Welcome back. We're here in winners semi-final. Now getting to the business end of stuff here in the £1,180 Sakura Cup in the open season of Black Ops Cold War 6. But Black Ops Cold War 6. Wow, made a new game off the top of my head. But X-Force
What a game that would be!
A new game and some new players in X-Force.
Omni movements on Moscow. Let's go.
Mate, we could do it Moscow, to be fair, with the map set they've given us, in all honesty. But either way, Pabs, we've got a set of 4 new players. I don't think you've cast any of these girls. I've cast a couple of them on X-Force Royals, but all we know is they're up a very, very solid outfit in Vortex Scarlets from what we've just seen. As how comfortably they took down Nocturne Strix, but at the moment they look very, very good in the open stages of Scarlet and Hardpoint.
Vortex Scarlets giving their pads to someone else, because right now they are being absolutely dominated in much the same fashion they got dominated in their P1 on the previous Hardpoint by Nocturne Strix, but turn things around. But X-Force Royals very aggressive out the blocks, taking very aggressive angles, got, you know, a number of early kills, but looks like we're just starting to see that kill feed go a little bit more balanced. We're seeing a few back and forth trades, but it's all about control. Leona looking very, very solid 2 and 3 there, early days. But AbiPiinK predictably major, getting a few picks, but it's about these 2 pieces. And right now, Nicole, speedy by name, major, speedy by nature.
Yeah, in the hill she goes. She does get taken down by Abby, but look at the jump up from Leona. Shots to take down 1, shots to take down the 2nd. As Leona just goes straight back in the point and says, no, no scrap time for you. Valaweee's going to try and do the same. Is it going to be the same outcome? Oof! Yes, it is. The GPR looking very, very good in the hand of some of these ladies, it must be said. And Leona looking to just continue that point. Furthermore, Amara going to look to try and fly now in towards bot. And now the new hill has now popped. So the player's going to look to try and get over towards the time. There's somebody wants to try and join in the action. Not today, buddy. Call of Duty. And Valaweeeee going to fly straight around the corner. And the girls of Vortex Scarlets are straight back in the time. So potentially a good opportunity for a line share of time here, Pabs on bar. Not necessarily easy to stay alive, but they're doing a really good job of winning the gunfights that they need to. And forcing X-Royals to try and just work their way in towards this hill, which is not an easy thing to do on this map.
Yeah, a couple of windy shots coming in from Leona just made that even more difficult, as the girls of Vortex just kind of used this area really well. This is where Dutch Kelly was able to just dominate earlier on for the Nocturne Strix, but Vortex just, you know, had an answer each time. And again, I spoke to one player, if you only just joined us, to watch out for 2 players maybe. Obviously, AbiPiinK has been stellar throughout the whole season and the whole series, and Amara was great to start with, and Merky has just had some really intelligent plays, so just keep your eyes peeled for, you know, those 3 girls. Valaweeeee, a player we haven't really concentrated on. We probably should put some time into watching how she plays right now. Trades are back and forth, and time isn't going the way of Vortex Scarlets. X-Force Royals looking very, very solid for the time. Major Leona 11 and 8, K 11 and 7. Really, really big, you know, scores coming out of those guys. They're total for 6 on a streak. X-Force Royals looking very, very good.
Yeah, and Amara waiting for the right time to push, waiting for her teammates to reinforce her. You can see that SpeedyNicole just waiting around the corner. There's the first pick, though, for Amara, and she's able to just play her life as well, so the numbers might work in their favour if she regens and completes the trade. Oh, there you go. Nice little snap there. I thought she wasn't able to get that one over the line, but she is. And alongside Valaweeeee, they're able to just start to pick apart. Oh, wow. Kay has absolutely eviscerated Amara there, so nice work from Kay. Looking for another. Abby's going to shut her down in her tracks on that occasion, and unfortunately, they're over towards Bath. It was a pretty bubbly affair. Sorry, I couldn't resist that.
Yeah, they probably soapy. Stop it. A 40-second make that a 50-second lead for X-Force Royals. Vortex Scarlets doing what they could to try and come back. Going to try and use a little bit of the geography to their advantage as they now realise where that team is spawning from. But I don't think they've seen Kay making their way all the way around the back. Apologies for my mad casting. I've got a wine gum in my mouth as well. But she makes absolute use of those stairs and dominates with the 2-piece, and that's just going to allow the X-Force Royals to get that little bit of time that is remaining. It's probably about 30 seconds on that hill. The next hill hasn't popped yet. Again, we are being scuppered by some major codcaster issues, but X-Force Royals major looking very, very tidy so far, and Vortex have fell off considerably from the last series.
Yeah, well, I think the all the players coming up on the kill feed is the correct one again. We've got players 1 through 8, which is usually a sign that it is actually working the way it's supposed to. So, touch wood. This is the way it keeps going. Kate, 21 and 11, by the way, out of her. She is having a hell of a time ripping through these players. Valaweeee's going to work the trade, at least on that occasion. You can see now Courtney's going to... Whoa! Oh my god! She's just destroyed her. It didn't even... I think it came up with 1 hit marker. I don't think she was weak either. So that con, holy moly, get that 1 gig up and down. That looked brutal. But either way, Vortex Scarlets on the time, pushing the girls of X-Force Royals up to their paces just a little bit here. Abby's going to try and transition behind another player, and she should be able to do so. Leona tries to spin onto her. It's going to be the exact same result, and this is a really good chunk of time here for Vortex Scarlets.
Yeah. Yeah, they've brought this back to around and about a 58-second deficit, so really big plays. They need to try and get as much time as possible off this hill and get prepared for the next hill. This is going to be largely their problem. If they don't get the scrap on this and then aren't set up for the next one, the spawns aren't friends to them, this could be problematic, and those kind of violet skulls, Vortex skulls showing up are not going to be what you want to see if you are a Scarlets fan. And again, they've been slaying out. I mean, you've got SpeedyNicole 911 largely being the kill kit in Force Royals at 119. She's going to take this top cat route and get herself a nice pick, and drop down and make that 2-piece as she just starts to just slowly move through to try and get around the back. While this next hill just gets dominated. The next Force Royals looking very, very strong.
Nicole, there's one. Oh, reloads before she's able to spot the second onto Merky, who somehow gets a second as well. Really nice work from Mel. Unfortunately, peeks there while being weak. And now it's a case of, right, where are these spawns going to start coming through from? Courtney's able to take down another player. And this lead is looking very, very good now. The girls in blue. Merky's able to get a pick. Leona's able to at least trade her out, but the damage is done. And the new hill's going to pop any second now. So just waiting for the next rotation. Where is the next gunfight going to lie? Mel's laying prone. I switched to the wrong player. There's now down off the top she goes. Unfortunately, down 6 feet under she goes as well. So you've still got 2 players out the back here for Vortex Scarlets. They're obviously putting a lot of emphasis here. Valaweeee's going to just opt to go scrub a dub-dub. As she does finally, unfortunately, get spotted in the bath. Not really much you can do about that one, as those players were slowly condensing around her. But now it's just a case of, can they manage to get these players out the back?
Again, they're just getting broken so easily. The X-Force Royals just push in, they get the picks. Doesn't matter if you're playing with your rubber duck in the tub, you're just going to get killed and they're going to take over. And right now, every hill has just largely been that scenario where they're relying on players to try and get these picks. But the trades are going to be there, and this SMG play in this tight-knit area where it is close quarter combat is working absolutely perfectly. Kay just going to pop into the walk-in, get herself another pick. Is she going to get the second? Make that a second. Can she get a third? No, she's finally going to get dealt with. But the damage has already been done. The time has already gone the way of Force Royals. Major, who are at 220, facing 117, 100-point lead.
Yeah, they are back up against it now. Abby still going strong at 24 and 90. Whoa! Holy snapperoonies. Absolutely wigs Kate. She's been a difficult player to shift this map, but she does an absolutely beautiful job of doing it on that occasion. Courtney should be taken down as Mel just hops up top, but now she's got to try and keep her alive, and unfortunately the nade from Nicole is right on the money. It's her straight on the button and takes her down. Amara does a good job of getting a couple of kills around the hill, but you've still got Nicole now soaking up that time. X-Force Royals just seem to always have somebody on the time, and now it's just going to be down to Vortex Scarlets to try and just hold this time. But you can see that 2 players have already started to fall. Leona's going to hop back on it. Abby from the high ground, though, going to do her utmost to defend it. But now you just see the madness of the spawns that we see in Skyline. They form here, there, and absolutely everywhere. You've got Kay in the back again, just causing absolute havoc. And when you've got a player like her just running around doing exactly what she wants, you just second-guess yourself all the time.
Yeah, I think this is where comms have got to be on point, and I think Vortex Scarlet's comms have fell off a little bit just because they just, you know, that information didn't go out to players behind, and the kill feed has just been horrifically blue for so long now, and that has just been a dominant performance from X-Force Royals, who strolled to a 1-0 lead. I say stroll, Major, they strolled at speed, and it was just from the outset hyper-aggressive performance, 1-0.
Well, I would say team performance looks very good, which it did, but my god, Kay just absolutely went on a rampage that map. We'll see the final kill cam coming through from Leona with a nice little 3-piece on this one, but Kay just absolutely flew around that map with a sub in her hand, and that is just the impact that a good sub player can have to your team, because 250, 131. looks absolutely brutal. 42 and 19, by the way, making it look like a pubs lobby from K, who is just
30 non-traded.
absolutely running through the girls of Vortex Scarlets. And she's going to look at that one and go, yeah, add a map there, ladies.
Yeah, that makes life a lot easier when you're getting someone with that many positive interactions as well. But that is a crazy map, so it's not that surprising that if you get a player that dominates that heavily, they're able to turn that into some solid time. We did see in the previous Skyline hardpoint that it was a lot more back and forth when the players were so much more evenly matched. But yeah, some god connection and some incredible plays coming out of the team in blue from the outset. Major, the pace never let off. It was unrelenting. It was no surprise that Vortex Scarlets found it so difficult to try and match up, and again with the spawns it just makes it so hard to read. Even if you do get the advantage, it's only nominal, only for a short space of time, but at times X-Force Royals just looked unplayable.
Well, map number 2 is going to be shortly starting. You guys can see on the screen how map number 1 did go, and it was very much a case of okay, clip after clip after clip, it felt as though. So X-Force Royals going to go 1-0 up in the best of 5. As mentioned, guys, this is winners semi-final, so still a best of 5. All those losers games are best of 3s. I'll double check to see if we've had any other results come through. So we have had one come through. So Crispy Valkyries were able to beat Emeralds, but they will progress and play No Scope, No Hope. Girls Spawned In are currently playing Noctum Strix Rising, and the winner of that game will go through to face IGL Opals, who did drop down from the losers bracket after losing to probably what is the team favourite, Pabs, in Ashley, Lola, Amelia Rose, and Abby. That's an absolute monster team with a few of the Noctum girls on that roster. But at the moment, it's a case of, on this series, Pabs, we go down to a rewind, search and destroy. Haven't seen this map on search yet for the both of us to cast over. Obviously, you would assume it's going to be very much a very AR heavy pick map, especially down the side of where is it, where you've got kind of like all the vans kind of, I suppose they'll call it long. I don't know what the guys are calling it at the moment, but it's going to be very much first pick heavy, AR heavy, and then you would assume in the middle portion of the map that's basically where your SMGs are going to try and make a little bit of an impact.
Yeah, I think that middle map area is going to be where you want to kind of like use your routes, get those routes. I mean, again, there are different options, depends on the information. You might find yourself pushing through Berger and then through into P1. It did a lot of egress points for that P1 area as well, so it's a real tricky one. And as much as like from like the police car right the way to like the end of P5 where like the RV trailer is, that's long, that's AR, but it's also, I'm not gonna lie, mid-range for like a really good AR player. It's only when you start to look at P4 potentially and trying to control that back P4 spawn where that might be potentially where your ARs are going to prosper. And again, getting control of P3, we've already seen huge AR battles outside of Cafe, so yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out. This could play into the hands of Vortex Scarlets if they've got their ARs on point, but you know, absolutely who knows, to be perfectly honest, how this is going to go.
Well, Merky straight in the action, and in typical male fashion, it just whizzes straight down mid and gets the first pick. So the opening start looking a little bit better in the first round here for Vortex Scarlets. Obviously, they look very good in the search against Noctum Strix, who we know are a good search side. 6-4 in the skyline. Okay, opening the door, going, no, I'll decide better off against that one. So it's just going to be a case of where this next pick lies, and Mel has got some really good timing. Oh, maybe not.
Yeah, this comes down to whether Leona is going to be able to get any control over towards this B. If she is, I think that might change things, and this is going to almost certainly solidify their choice of Hill, especially now. Now it's about getting picks and playing your life. Courtney has got to stay alive, but she's going to run into a lot of trouble. This could be the perfect time, and no manages to get a pick. Is her reaction time going to be big enough? No. Oh, she gets it with the handgun, not able to do it, gets shot in the back. Vortex Scarlets with a first positive encounter in this series so far.
Yep, so first round on the board, and Mel opening with the first blood and the final kill of the round as well. So nice work there from Mel. And the girls, Vortex Scarlets, going to draw first blood. So I think it's another map perhaps where kind of in terms of bomb sites, you're kind of looking at the one in mid maps tends to be the one that people tend to go for in A because of how, like you say, that B street control can be very easy to maintain, especially if you're an AR and you're just sat on that back heady. I'll be interested to see kind of how it unfolds in the map, because we kind of talk about how teams try to mix stuff up, but when you're on quite one-dimensional maps, you get to a new level of trying to mix it up, don't you? Because you're still trying to do the same thing over and over again, and we see exactly why that B site is difficult, because Amara just gets absolutely beamed from distance with that AR.
Yeah, I think that's one of your problem points right there. And again, it's just going to be an absolute slay fest for X-Force Royals. I don't know what the script is. What's the script with smokes and GAs and stuff? Are they GA'd at the minute?
Yeah, I don't believe they're smokes, because I think they're too one-way heavy at the moment. So I think
Yeah,
until
so
they
that
sort
I
that,
think
they won't use them.
I think, you know, once if that gets resolved, this changes some of the map kind of play a little bit, because obviously you can, you know, fake smoke towards Berger and try and wrap round to try and get to that B, or you could like do a genuine smoke, get some control over towards that, you know, very far left end towards you know, back half and try and push through courtyard towards B. It's so weird. Without smokes, I think some of these maps are designed with certain elements in mind, and then when they get GA because they're not coded properly, it just ruins the map. Like it's just completely negates any of the intelligent play that you could do. So you're just forced into this war of 1v1s almost, and it really puts the impetus on First Blood as well, because you just don't have an opportunity to kind of slap back.
Well, Mel's doing what she did before. Oh, did she spot the legs of Courtney? I don't think she did. Courtney just laying outside mid. And there's a few players to her right-hand side. Courtney's actually going to get the first pick as well. So Mel just laying prone in this corner is waiting for that first engagement. I believe the door is shut. Oh, she does spot Courtney, but now it's just a case of trying to pick where she goes next. She's in such a good spot for so many kills, but the timing, door open, so she gets a little bit of information. She knows she has to take the gunfight, but she can't do much of it. So now it's going to be down to Valaweeeee and Abby to try and clutch this one. 2 versus 4s needed. The first stage is done. Ooh, Leona, I think, got spotted there, actually. Whether she communicates that to Valaweeeee, I don't know. Abby's not going to get the kill, so now Valaweeeee needs the 1 versus 3. Just going to have to try and pick them apart here. Bomb's going to go down on the A site as well, which isn't ideal for her, so it's going to make her life just that little bit more difficult. You see that Kay alongside SpeedyNicole, they are just going to turtle themselves up inside the site. Nade going to try and distract a few. You can see that Leona, though, all the way out the back, is just holding her angle and picks her off. So good round there from X-Force.
Yeah, nice patience, good caution. They didn't kind of like let themselves get too taken with the idea of trying to find information or push or be aggressive. Just play your angles, you know, get the information out and have someone to watch your back. And Leona's right there, 3-1 to do that. Next Force Royals look really solid, a lot better play. Unfortunate for Merky that she didn't see Courtney initially, and then Courtney goes and gets the first blood. Things start to fall apart, and then you see that slide jump kill that puts Merky into the next round. Really unfortunate set of circumstances. Game could have went completely differently if, you know, she's able to see that, but what we can see and what they can see are completely separate things. So it is going to be Valaweeeee with the bomb, and it is going to be that push again towards that A bomb site, trying to get that forward control and just trying to dig that player number 2, Leona, out and force them away from that B bomb site.
You can kind of see that they're trying to work their way down this side of the map. There isn't a trophy currently down for Leona, but there's a lot of players now in a very, very short area. Very small area, should I say, as now they look to try and fly in, but Courtney's going to catch her, I think, a few here. One, she's going to do the wise thing, actually, and dip out as number 4K over the top of the wall. She's able to take down another player, and Abby finds herself very much alone, being chased, being hunted. Going to have to try and get some good timing here on Nicole, and she's actually able to do that. So 1 versus 2 makes it look a little bit easier.
Yeah, and you know, we've seen some really good 1v2 performances coming out of the likes of Belters. So can AbiPiinK, who's been stellar so far in the season, in the series, sorry, can she do any better? We need her to get a little bit more confidence in her play, and this might change things with Vortex. She does get shots in, but she gets tagged up pretty heavily, and that's going to just force her away from being able to get the bomb. She's going to need to get this 2-piece in kind of short order, and she's going to get an opportunity to get straight into that gunfight. Oh my days! AbiPiinK is back, and she is back in style to tie things up.
Earthed. With all the earthness, Jesus, Abby's absolutely fried her. She was moving around like a woman possessed, and she's absolutely wigged Courtney off that bomb heady. I switched to Courtney thinking she's got that kill. Absolutely not. Abby has absolutely beamed her off of that, and X-Force Royals will tie it back up. And I don't know who on earth the only figures is, but he's just joined mid-map, so that's useful. Hopefully he
Yeah.
respectfully fucks off.
Yes, please get kicked, senor. Lovely. Gotta love a 2-all 5v4. What is... I thought you could lock the
Who is...
lobby.
what's gone on here? What? Okay, well... I don't know. I don't know how nobody's noticed that he's in the game. How has no one noticed that he's there? Oh, well, Leona's just got rid of him, so we're probably going to have a map restart. We'll stay on the screen anyway to see what happens. But I don't know what on earth they're doing or who on earth they are. If anyone knows who they are, respectfully reach out and call them a bellend. Because surely you'd realise, oh, there's something actually going on here. But, hey-ho, strange game, strange rounds, I guess.
I mean, I don't know. I thought you could lock the lobby so that no one else came in once you got the invites. But yeah, I guess it's like, it is what it is. I don't. Are they just playing this out? Are they actually playing for real? And that guy's still in here. Like he hasn't quit. Like he hasn't got the point. Oh my days! You gotta love that when you're clearly in a custom game 4v4. Like where are the brass cojones to stay in the game? Like madness. Let's see how it plays out. Vortex Scarlets do get the round, but whether that's going to count or not, I guess I don't know. Whether X-Force Royals are they confident enough to just be like, yeah, let's carry on?
I think they probably will. It depends who it is, I guess. But we'll see what happens if the girls restart the map. Then we'll probably just continue from 2-2. But we'll have a look. It looks as though we are. Oh no, they're restarting it. Brilliant. Cheers, buddy. Thank you for that. So yeah, you can lock the lobbies. I assume we're going to continue from 2-2. I'll note down that it was 2 apiece. Yeah, shout out the clown, I guess. But yeah, 2-2, pretty tied up. Not really much separating these in the search and destroy pamps. Obviously, we had that kind of magical moment from Abby to kind of keep the goals alive in that one and tie it back up again to make it 2-2. But we are just slowly starting to see kind of the girls try and refine the plays that they're doing. We're trying to see slightly different approaches, but again, it's a hard map to do it on, is Rewind. I think you're very limited in what you can do because mid is just a clusterfuck. And then, like you say, that outer lane is very much commanded. There's a lot of dead... It feels like there's a lot of dead space on this map over to where the CAF side is. It feels as though it just completely gets neglected in this map, and it feels as though it's almost no point having it.
The problem is if you've got someone watching that for information and you spawn kind of far to the back right hand side, I guess, by where the police car is, that you can't actually get across to it without being spotted. So even if you wanted to say send one player across there in order to try and get maybe play right the way around the back of Candy at the back, they're just going to get spotted. And it's so long as well. It's such a long map that like that's going to take you a solid 25 seconds of time to get there. So what use are you going to be to your team? And I think this is designed with smokes in mind so that you can maybe fake smoke out, you know, mid and do a push. But with no smokes, you just, it's the same as Vault. It's just headbutt your way to A, try and be clever, and you see what happens when you try and get clever. You just get decimated by the person kind of way back from 18 wheeler. So it's a weird situation right now with some of these maps and some of the GAs, and smokes has been a problem for so long that like. Yeah. It's like, when was the last time that we saw snipers? Like, when was the last time we get to see Beans or Trooper or someone with a sniper in the hand? Because it's been so long in competitive Call of Duty. Like, that was bread and butter stuff for players back in the day. You know, you think Wuskins was Sniper of the Year. It was so vital a thing that it was an award that you could win. And now it's just largely being, like, forgotten. Yeah. Like, no, we can't do it because the smokes are so bad that we can't do it. And this isn't, like just this year. This is multi-year. This is the third year running. I think we haven't had it, and it's absurd. It's so demoralizing.
Yeah, and not being funny, obviously, Search and Destroy I don't think is many people's favorite game mode. I think it is very much a niche favorite for a few players and a few people in the scene. I think the majority of people do like that fast-paced hard point and control because it is a little bit more action-packed. And the main interest from a lot of people who aren't necessarily keen on Search and Destroy comes from snipers and comes from smokes, because it gives you that X factor and it gives you those wow moments which you don't necessarily get if it's just an AR SMG meta kind of things. And they say, obviously, when we look back on kind of the players and the moments that we've cast over. I mean, how infamous was like Super on Bocage with a sniper, and those kind of things. So I hope they fix it. Something tells me that I think we'll have another year without snipers and smokes, to be honest, mate, if I'm being brutally honest, which is a big kick in the teeth because, like I say, both of us love search and destroy with snipers and smokes because it adds that extra element of versatility to plays and kind of those moments where it lets our jaws hits the floor. So it's one where
S&D's the brains of this game. Yeah. It's the brains, mate, of this game. The best players in the world are S&D players through and through. Like, you think about the great Call of Duty players, and they are S&D like monsters. They were great at Respawn just because their gun skill was so good, but just that intelligence to be able to control a map, know where the opposition is, the reactions to be able to get those really important one-on-one kills, and just being able to utilize like interesting points and elements in the map, and being able to utilize your utilities, you know, your non-lethals and stuff. It's a totally different ball game. Like, you can get into a rhythm in Hardpoint where you just are unstoppable. Like, and everyone has that moment. Even the bad players can get that moment where they just get into a rhythm. In S&D, you can't be shit and do well.
No.
Like, it's just can't do it. You can't be shit and do well. So it's such a shame as well, because the sniper adds an element of suppression, especially in the hands of a good player, that no other weapon can over distance. Like, if you've got a sniper watching long, like someone like Super is watching that like back heady right the way past 18 wheeler, no one's challenging that. Like, they're gonna have to throw smokes down in order to be able to get through that.
Yeah.
And it's just a shame that option's not there, and it's disappointing, really.
Yeah, so just an update, guys. We are going to continue from 2 rounds apiece. Obviously, Vortex Scarlets did take that round, but because of the random bloke that joined, I hope the guys have made the buy only now, so we don't have a random spud join. But it is going to be a case that we are continuing from 2 rounds apiece, so it's anyone's game again. Obviously, I'll show you guys the series and the maps that we have got here, because Rewind map 2 currently 2 apiece. And then we've got Red Card Hardpoint, which we did get a glimpse of Pabs with Crispy's Valkyries, Noctum Strix. To be fair, I don't think the Hardpoint maps are necessarily that bad. I think Vault works on Hardpoint. Rewind seems okay on Hardpoint. Red Card and Protocol also seem alright on Hardpoint. I think it's when we get down to Search and Destroy, I think that's when these maps struggle. A, for bomb site positioning, and B, just for the size of the maps, because the smaller ones just don't work. Skyline obviously is a map that, just to be perfectly honest, I don't think it should be in Search, and I don't think it should be in Hardpoint. I think it's probably going to be one where as soon as Hacienda comes in, that map will go and it will just get binned off, and I think we'll be left with, again, another pool of 5, and then until we wait for the next DLC where another map comes in.
Raid.
Yeah. But saying that again, it's like, how long are we going to have to wait for some of these maps to come back in? Because obviously they only release them with the seasons and the DLC, so you have to wait a month, 2 months, 3 months before some of these maps even come to fruition. So we might be playing a waiting game, and where we're kind of sitting there thinking, oh bloody hell, right, okay, we've got to crack on with another 3-4 months of potentially some pipe maps.
Indeed, we are going to have to crack on now with a rewind from 2-all, and it's going to be a straight Merky as he makes K straight into the next round. So that's going to be advantage Vortex Scarlets as Leona joins K as well in the next round. And Coldcaster does appear to be working. We do see the old 1, 2, 3, 4 coming right the way through to 8. So hopefully it's going to give us some good information. SpeedyNicole is just going to be with Bomb, trying to get some control of this A bomb site. And look who's just waiting outside for it, AbiPiinK.
Well, so our next pick, it had to be blue. Unfortunately, it's not. SpeedyNicole's going to speedily look for a trade, and Mel's up close and personal with the SMG, incredibly weak. Pistol catches her out, and it will be a case of Vortex Scarlets take that round. So I think actually that was the round that they won before the game ended anyway. So we are pretty much in the same position as we were before, realistically, which actually makes things a little bit easier. But yeah, really good work from Mel. 3 in that round from her. She's very much making that middle portion of the map hers.
Yeah, absolutely, just rocked that as well. And the thing is, the speed at which she had to get into that interaction, she was ready for someone pushing through Zig as well. So yeah, I'm, got to say well done to Merky on that one, and then holding the nerve to be able to get that jump shot at the end. So big plays, Vortex Scarlets in the position they were when we went into that little technical break. 3-2. Valaweeeee has bomb, a player we haven't really talked about a great deal. Someone who has had moments in this game, but again hasn't dominated, and she fell off a little bit in the hard point. So can she make amends in this? Again, it's this struggle to try and get control, and that is going to be huge from AbiPiinK as those bullets absolutely decimate Courtney.
Well, we've seen Leona here before. There you
Oh!
go. And that's why you need a trophy over towards that bad car. Because
That was my old car.
yeah, the old Honda's just gone straight in the bin. And the round goes in favour of Vortex Scarlets. So 2 rounds to the good. Although you guys are seeing 2-0 on your screen, it is 4-2 now to Vortex Scarlets here in map number 2. And map number 1 did go in favour of X-Force Royals 250 to 137. So this is very much a case, Pabs, of search and destroy. Looks very, very good for Vortex, because obviously if they're not going to take the respawns, they need to do it in a search. And if we've got 3 hard points, it might just be a case in a series where they're just looking to try and pinch those search and destroys where they can.
Yeah, I think obviously right now this has got to be their bread and butter. I think they're obviously going to need to take a hard point. Like, they have to take a hard point, but this is their bread and butter. It does look like a bit of a slow start. Number 8 there, Merky, looks like she's waiting for the just eat order. She has got underway, and again, it is that problem from the offensive side of, like, you struggle so much to get any geography. This is, looks like a slightly overcautious. Whether they're being drawn in to this CQB area where they can start to do it, does look like that. So you can see already that's going to be information gathered straight through the hole, straight round the outside. And we talked about an area that doesn't get used enough. They've tried to use it and been forced to back up.
Well, Leona gets the first blood courtesy of a wall bang there onto Abby. So first blood this time goes in favour of X-Force Royals. Now it's just a question of what they try and do. Amara's going to manage to isolate a pick there onto K. So round looking a little bit better here for Vortex. Oh, the timing. Surely Mel's got the comms. Oh, the shots, though, not going to be good enough. Valaweeeee sprinting over to try and make a trade. Courtney's going to peek the outside, so she should be dead, and she is. Now 2 versus 2. Bomb still in the hands of Nicole as well. He's going to try and work the B site, but you've still got Valaweeeee who's out the back here. And the shots, though, from Nicole are looking good. Amara, though, for the quick trade. Now it's a 1 versus 1 up against Leona. Leona on the chase. I think she's given away her position, and Amara turns around and absolutely fries her. Vortex Scarlets, they are off and flying now in the search. 3 since the restart. 5-2 up. And now 1 round away before they tie up the series.
Yeah, Amara had a quiet hard point, and she's absolutely gone off again. The start of this S&D was a little quiet as well, but she's started to pick things up. She was so good in the previous series, so really expected her to go big, but she's just started to pick up the confidence. And Vortex Royals have mixed the 2 of them into one giant 8-person team. Vortex Scarlets, they're starting to look like the team that played Noxton Strix before. They're starting to, 4-0. She's close to a streak. It's only 1 round away from seeing the series tied up. So big plays. She does push out to go wide. And number 4 there in Courtney, just going to get that suppressive fire down. No first blood as of yet, but it's round the corner, and it's going to be Nicole who gets it.
Well, Merky's on the hunt. She's made mid-map hers pretty much all map long. Is she going to have another engagement? Is she going to check this left-hand corner? Courtney's kind of checking and not checking. Ah, there's the free pick, though, straight into the back of Mel. So 2 versus 2. Valaweeeee and Amara up against SpeedyNicole and Courtney. They're just holding down in towards Broken. Amara's going to probably peek this any second. Oh, good information, though. They know exactly where she is now. But Nicole, living up to the name, she's going straight into the action. She might get both. There's one for Nicole. Can she get the second? Ooh, Valaweeeee makes her pay for missing a few shots. Oh, but the trade is good. The round comes through, and X-Force Royals get a round on the board. A much-needed one. Yeah,
that's going to make it 5-3, is it? Yeah, 5-3. So big moment there. We see X-Force Royals just try and peek around it. Guys only just joining us. There was a break at 2-all. And I'll be honest with you, X-Force Royals looked so solid in the hard point, and then started to kind of eke out a bit of an advantage in the S&D, but Vortex Scarlets just hanging on for dear life. But they have absolutely dominated these last couple of rounds. Players going 4-0. Mara's had a great start to the game. Merky's had a great start to the game. So just to see whether they can force this round out, it's just so difficult. Sometimes psychologically, you want to do something different. You want to get this round over and get into the hard point, but they've got to play patient. And K, it's on the struggle bus right now since the restart major. 0-4. It's been first blooded a couple of times, I think, now. So all important from K, really, to keep a life or to contribute.
I think that's where we see kind of that raw ability transferring over to Search and Destroy can take a little bit longer, because we saw how efficient K was in that respawn where everything was just kicking off and going manic. We saw the movement, the gun skill, it is there. It's just a case in Search and Destroy where if somebody's holding an angle in the corner, it doesn't matter how cracked you are, they will probably take you down if you're not careful. Leona gets a pick though onto Amara. It's going to be swiftly traded out. SpeedyNicole is working her way around the back. And it will be a case. Oh, not quite able to get the second. So now Leona's on her own. 1 versus 2 is required. She's got players on both respective sides. I think she spotted Merky in that corner, though. Flies around the corner. Oh, but her gun's not up. Mel makes her pay. And Vortex Scarlets will take that Search and Destroy 6-3 in the end. And they tie up the series.
I'm so confused. Kay, like, got, like, tagged up in Broken, but, like, backed all the way up to, like, Barber. Like, she backed about as far up as she could. And Merky just used that to take up as much ground as she could and gets a really easy kill on Kay trying to transition. And just, you know, when S&D is, like, you can't be that naive. Like, you got tagged up, try and hold your ground or just try and transition, but go forward. Don't lose too much ground. And in doing that, she's allowed Merky to just dominate, and that's Vortex Scarlets. It tied series. You think about the dominant performance the Royals had in that first hard point, and we know that things can switch like the way they did, but that looked like a closer game in S&D before the break, before we had the extra player join. So it's just really weird to know whether was that a genuine performance coming out of Vortex Scarlets to win that, or did the Force Royals get really kind of like trolled hard by that 5th player joining and just fell off? It's just really hard to know.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of what we'll see now in map 3 in red card hardpoint. I think that's where we're going to see what kind of Vortex Scarlet's team is likely or unlikely to get through and towards that winners final. And it's just going to be a case of, can Kay do exactly what she did on map number 1, because she was incredible on that Skyline hardpoint. Obviously SMG in a kind of Hot Girl Summer era, going around absolutely frying everything, and then all of a sudden it's on a map which is a lot slower, a lot more difficult to kind of be incredibly aggressive on. And then we did see that kind of that pace slowly start to deteriorate a little bit, and maybe a little bit of confidence as well, because when you are going round after round after round on Search and Destroy, not necessarily having as big an impact as you're hoping for, it can start to play on your mind, and you start to second guess yourself. And kind of the players like Kay, from what we saw on map 1, I think she's just one of those players where you've got to just kind of help her stay confident, stay in her element, and just do what she wants to do on the map, and just kind of build everything else around her to make sure that she's able to stay alive on these more difficult, more slow-paced maps.
Yeah, I think you're probably really correct there. What is the 3rd map, by the way? I didn't get the... Is it Vault? Oh, red card. Yeah, this could be a more interesting one. I like the rotations on the hard point on this one, and it's not like it's not totally unbalanced. I think the P5 is a bit of a weird one because of the transition you have to make and how there's only a couple of ways into it, but it's led to some really interesting moments. So I'm properly excited to see how this plays out. Sorry, I've just put our stream on and left the audio on, so it's freaking me out no end. There we go. It's all right. I went in and was like, I hadn't said hello to anyone. I was like, oh, Stigsy, hi. But yeah, I just think this is probably one of the, from this recent cast, I think this is one of the better hardpoint maps. I don't like this as a pubs map, to be perfectly honest. No. In Dom, it's an absolute nightmare. I think it's a horrible map for domination, but it's actually all right for competitive. And we're seeing this kind of juxtaposition. It's great for pubs, it's rubbish for competitive. It's rubbish for pubs, it's great for competitive, which is just absurd. But yeah, it is what it is, and we roll with the punches. But yeah, I'm just looking forward to see how this plays out. And again, I just don't know which way it's going to go, because was that S&D a true reflection of either team's capabilities? We know Vortex Scarlets can play well, but the Royals look so hot going out of the hard point, and they look sound in the first part of the S&D, and it's just where are we, Major? I have stowed the flags. There will be no planted flags thus yet.
Yeah, we'll only shut our mouth. We've been doing it for long enough now, mate, to the point where it's just like, it's safer just not to say anything. But yeah, we are now loading into red card hardpoint. But I think it's always going to be the case, Pabs, where pubs maps don't work for competitive. It's just one of those where I think because even just numbers, 6v6 in comparison to 4v4, it just doesn't work. I think if you've got a 6v6 map where you can fundamentally watch enough lanes with 6 people, you'll have too many lanes if you're doing 4v4. So I think we're just going to have to bite the bullet and hope that the next set of maps aren't pubs inclined. And I think that's why I kind of like, I remember on, yeah, exactly. And I think I remember on Black Ops 4 when Hacienda was a pub, well, it still is a pubs map, but it wasn't necessarily very good for pubs because it was just slightly too small for pubs. And I think that's why it was so good for competitive. But either way, map 3 underway. If you guys missed map 1, X-Force Royals took it 251-31. Vortex Scarlets then took map 2 6-3. And we are now here on a red card hard point to see who is going to take this one and potentially swing the series back in their favour. But it's going to be a question, Pabs. This girl on the screen here, Kay, can she have that map 1 performance again?
Yeah, this was definitely a two completely different strategies going into this P1. We saw a very aggressive core push from all players. Kay is just absolutely having her way with Vortex Scarlets right now. But yeah, the entire side of Vortex Scarlets just kind of pushed straight into P1. A little bit more caution. Come the girls of X-Force Royals, they waited for them to be in the kind of difficult corners and just picked them apart. And that's just going to give them that slender advantage. And it is going to be nice plays. Leona is going to get tagged up though. Valaweeeee is going to be there just to get that trade. So nice plays. Nicole's just going to be waiting on this heady for someone to peek up. She's not going to get that pick. She's going to get taken down by Valaweeeee. But Kay is who else would it be with a 2-piece? About to be a 3-piece. Who else would it be? She doesn't get the handgun out and she makes me eat my own words.
Yeah, well, at the moment, she's looking good for her money. And it's going to be a case of now, can she keep this momentum going? And can the likes of Nicole just start to pick it up a little bit? Shots in from Courtney, looking very, very good with a 2-piece. There's a third as well for Nicole. Much better there from her. And Courtney, sorry. But she's actually going to manage to maybe take another player down here. You can see those arrows from Vortex Scarlet starting to spawn out over towards the backside of stage, which is going to be difficult for them to even contest for the time being. And there is a long race, Pabs, over towards the next hill. You can already see that Valaweee's over there ready to go. And those blue arrows spawning in the back, not going to be too favourable for them here because they've got a good 15-second run just to even get near to it.
Yeah, this is the hill I was talking about. It's such an odd kill. I think you're going to see like some really solid money hill plays out of this if people can hold it. But I suppose it's all about getting your positions and getting set up. And look at the spawn, mate. Number 4 has just spawned in the back of the hill. Yeah, it's crazy, that spawn. I think this is going to take them completely by surprise.
Oh, well, saying that, they've managed to knock off 2 players looking to try and form the pinch. Abby goes down. Amara, big trade. You can still see where are those blue arrows going to spawn. Number 7 in Abby's going to spawn out the back, so they should now spawn mid, and they do. It's just a case now, can they win their engagements? Yes, they can. Big gunfight win over towards the outside of the street. You can see that Abby gets another gunfight win alongside Valaweeeee, so that's looking very, very good now for Vortex Scarlets. And you can see that Amara already second-guessing where these next spawns are coming from because they do spawn down to lower garage so consistently. Nice shots there from Amara. Trade comes through, and the scrap time goes in their favour. But at the moment, Vortex Scarlet's playing this really well, Pabs. They've juggled this next hill again. They've rotated. They're ready to go.
Yeah, I think, you know, when you talk about that previous hill on Zig, like stairs, it can be a money hill because it's so difficult to break, but you've got to get set up for it. And they nearly lost it because of the weird spawns, but only the scrap time goes the way of Force Royals and Vortex Scarlets, just looking like the team we saw against Noctum Strix. So this is a worrying time if you're a Royals fan because they're just slowly but surely falling off despite the heroics of Kay and co. It's just not been enough right now. The kill feed's largely been a Vortex Scarlet domain. Spawn. Just waiting to see whether they can break in. Courtney's going to be the first one. She gets taken down. It's going to be bullets from Kay that forces her out. So a little bit of confusion. And who's there just to wrap things up, clear the deck, and it's going to be Merky.
That was a honking spawn, I think. I can't remember if it was Courtney or Nicole. Excuse me, that spawned out the backside of that time. But this time, they're going to be a little bit more present over towards the next hill. Are those blue arrows? Abby gets another big couple of kills. 12 and 7 from her. And I'll tell you what, if you're X-Force Royals, considering the way the kill feed's been looking, it's not necessarily the worst deficit you're likely to have. 80 pushing 90 points now behind. Valaweeeee just laying prone on time. Going to need to try and protect her. That's the main thing. It's a question of whether Mel tries to wrap this or whether she just stays in top mid and helps her out. It looks as though she's just going to try and stay in top mid. Nice shots from Mel to take down one. Amara grabs a pick off the top rope with the C9. Mel not able to get it though. And now you can see they're looking to try and get locked up. That head glitch over towards back stairs. Going to be so brutal. Valaweee's going to get taken down by Nicole, who is only on her 4th kill. 1 kill for each hill at the moment so far for Nicole. But can she manage to just work it a little bit more? That's the question. Abby's going to crop up. Nice shots there from Nicole. Much better from her. And her team is slowly starting to just pull their way back into it as 80 points slowly turns to 70 in the deficit.
Yeah, this is the thing. You can start creeping that time down, and what was a horrific deficit can start to turn things around. But this P1 is going to be all important. It's somewhere the X-Force Royals were really successful on the first rotation, but this looks like it's going to be a Vortex Scarlet Wales right now as they etch that lead out even more. It's going to approach 100 points again. And the question is, can the X-Force Royals string enough together? That's going to be an important kill. But I think the player in blue just probably shouldn't have dipped out, but it doesn't matter because Kay's going to be there to drop Merky, and it's going to be X-Force Royals on the hill. But it's going to be AbiPiinK, player who's gone largely quiet, 16 and 11, absolutely needs to dominate proceedings if she wants to see Vortex Scarlets over the line. Still not able to really stretch that lead out beyond 100 points as X-Force Royals look to battle back. And again, this P1 becomes this war of attrition, but Major, 3 blue skulls will go a long way to helping the cause of the Vortex Scarlets.
Yeah, now they've got to try and push their way down towards the hill by football, and it's just going to be a question of can they get the gunfights out the back. But keep an eye on those blue arrows. Where do they spawn? Because they can be a bit rogue. And there you go. In typical fashion, you've got one player in number 4, Courtney, spawning out the backside. So the pinch is going to come through. And Merky with a big 2-piece on the hill, though, will go down. So it's just a question of whether they read these parallel spawns, because they can be brutal on this hill. Valaweee's going to get a pick before she dips out the side over towards Arches. And nice shots there from Kay to take her down. Still so heavily engagement are X-Force Royals. You can see you've got Leona on 35, Kay on 33. And they are really leading the charge in terms of gunfights. They do manage to win a couple. Valaweee's still alive for all this madness. Finally goes down, but you've got a bit more of a shift now in terms of kills, Pams. You've got, what is it, 8 across the 4 players now on X-Force Royals. And it looks as though Kay might have a few for the picking. 1 for Kay. Abby, though, quick to turn around.
Yeah, that's going to be handy for them. They've got, you know, a decent streak across the board. That's going to be some kills. But again, it's a really weird hill that, you know, with it being quite central. I think over time we're going to get used to where to block the spawns for that hill. But largely it becomes this kind of like magnet to try and get kills and try and get on the kill. I think that's going to be one of those ones where you can just control it and try and keep players away from getting time. But this is going to be a big omen. Nicole's just going to come in round the back. She doesn't get that big. She gets taken down. And this is where the girls of Vortex Scarlets were able to just eke out a huge lead. And this is potentially going to be absolutely huge. If the Royals can't do this here, they allow the Scarlets to get a load of time here. This could be very problematic going into the next rotation.
Yeah, this is a big hill for both respective teams. X-Force Royals might be able to claw themselves pretty much back to level with some big chunk of time on this hill. Mel turns and burns.
Merky.
Mulaney, holy. Big kill there
Twerky
from her.
Merky does it.
Twerky Merky. Oh, that's a stick. Hold that. What? Was that not a stick? I swear I got a hit marker. Maybe it hit something else. Maybe Codcaster was throwing me off a little bit there. But regardless, Vortex Scarlets over that infamous 200-point mark. So now it's just a case of X-Force Royals. They really need to bank on this stage hill. And Merky going to look to try and be the thorn in their side. Not going to be able to slither through on that occasion, though. Now can Amara and Valaweeeee manage to do it. Leona's so alone now on the time. Nades in, shots, looking good. Oh, not quite able to, shooting the ankles of a few players. And the break now looks very good for Vortex Scarlets. And this is not time that you want to see going in their favor if you're an X-Force Royals fan.
Yeah, this is a really dangerous moment in the game. You're going to need to start to really control this area. X-Force Royals with a couple of big kills. Courtney and Nicole teaming up there. She got a gun out of those. No, but Amara and Merky absolutely slaying out X-Force Royals. That's going to allow them to get a solid chunk of time. They're 25 seconds off taking the lead in this series. But it is going to be the team in blue slowly pushing through. But number 6... in Amara still sat on that hill. What can they do? The next hill is about to drop, but look who's already there, Vortex Scarlets.
Oh, Courtney's got to go. Oh, top rope, baby. Pistol in hand. Big one-on-ones now. We're going to go down. SpeedyNicole goes down. That is not good. And now you look at Leona. Can she go big? Oh, that's a big two-piece from Leona. That's going to enable them to get on the time. So 12 seconds. Somebody's on the time. Now they just got to try and just hold these players at bay. It's not an easy hill to push through, though. If you are Vortex Scarlets, you've got to try and pick your lane, and you've got to pick it smartly. It looks as though they're going to try and push it from mid and through that dugout area. Can Abby manage to get the pick? Mel gets the first pick. That's exactly what you need if you're going to try and break in. And we're going to see a streak actually come down. I don't know who's called that down. Oh, it's Amara. She's managed to get 2 with it as well. It lands death from above. That might be the nail in the coffin. They're on the time. 10 seconds is all they need, and that is premium streak usage from Amara. She cleans them out. Vortex Scarlet on the precipice of getting this one done. I don't even know if Courtney's going to touch this. She's going to try her utmost. Over she goes. It's not good enough, and Vortex Scarlets with a very clean hard point.
Well, if you're going to flip a series, you might as well do it in that kind of style. Ends on a two-piece and control of that hill, 250 to 180. Vortex Scarlets looking like a completely different team to the one we cast in that first hard point. Kills going their way. Merky doing really well. AbiPiinK is back on form. And Amara, a player we saw against Noctum Strix, who dominated that series so well, comes back to form. X-Force Royals on the back foot. Question is, can they reinvigorate themselves? Some huge plays there. Amara 33 and 20 with 23 non-traded kills. Incredible performance from her. And, you know, despite the heroics of the likes of Kay, likes of Leona, just not enough in the end. 2-1 to Vortex Scarlets as we head into our second hard point, third hard point of the series, and second back-to-back hard point. I'm not even sure what map it is. So the next...
it's Rewind, mate.
Map. Rewind.
Rewind.
The crowd say boat select. Sorry, I'm going way back in time now. But yeah, Rewind, such an odd map, hardpoint map. Again, it's a problematic one, but we're going to see which team can come out on top. Major, really good comeback from Vortex Scarlets. Just a good composure, good consistency. Haven't lost their heads, and you start to see that quality come to the fore.
Yeah, and speaking of Rewind, replays on the screen. And you'll see a few of them from the likes of Mel, Amara with some big moments there as well. And X-Force Royals, you see the explosive map that Kay had in map 1 wasn't quite able to be emulated. When the first hill popped, I thought for a second it might be another map where Kay had her way with Vortex Scarlets, but she wasn't able to in the end. And it did go back in their favour, but it will be... Now, Vortex Scarlets 1 map away from booking themselves in that winners final up against AbiPiinK and the gals, who are probably on paper, you would argue, the favourites. But now it's just a case, Pabs, of make or break, really. Obviously, it's not the end of the world, whoever goes out of this one, because they will drop down into the losers bracket, where I believe it's Pre's team who are waiting, from what she was saying in chat. So it should be a good series, whoever comes out on the losers end of it. And I think the next series will be our last one of the evening, which will be a best of 3. But either way, wouldn't surprise me if X-Force Royals suddenly find themselves in a game 5 against Vortex Scarlets here, because this is just the way COD is.
No, it's been like this. It's this. I'd be fair. Like, we haven't. Last year was such a weird one where you got that flip of control all the time, and it didn't always get to the game 5. We saw a lot of game 4s last year, but you know, this is going back to the days of, you know, when we did have Bocage in the mix and we got a lot of game 5. So nice to see, and hopefully we're going to see more of it this year. But Pink is going to be straight in there. Abby dominating this middle section, not able to get the pick there. Courtney going to get a 2-piece. So a little bit of control going the way of X-Force Royals, looking like the team that won that first hard point early doors. Unanswered 13 seconds, as we can see the players trying to reposition, trying to transition, but that kill feed, Major, is looking very blue.
Well, Kay gets a couple, and that combined streak of 8 for X-Force Royals looks very, very tasty now indeed. So P1 still got about a good 15 to 20 seconds, I would say, courtesy of not being able to see how long is left on each hill. Shout out Call of Duty. Valaweeeee and the girls going to look to try and break back in and get themselves on the board. So they are going to manage to do it. You can see that Abby's already rotated over towards the new hill as well. Leona's got a lot of responsibility, actually. I don't know whether or not she knows that Merky spotted her in the back, or some good timing is going to be beneficial to her, though. Big kill from Leona, hunting for another one. Mel, whoa, ring around the rosy, pocket for the posy, and Merky will get that important pick in the back. And now they've got a difficult position here, because they've got to try and shift her out of this one.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm choking on your nursery rhymes and
say,
a wine gum at the same time.
Finish that sentence quickly, please.
Sorry, don't do that at this time of night. Dear God, man. At least Vortex Scarlets have got themselves 25 seconds, and they're not choking on wine gums thanks to Major Chafin and some spurious cast. Owen 4 for Nicole, though, the girl who needs to get off the blocks right away because Merky is right there to put you into the blender. 1 and 5 right now, 28 seconds on the clock, and right now Vortex Scarlets started off really slowly, but they've just slowly but surely started to get the kills that are turning things round. And as we see that next hill drop, it's going to be number 5 in Valaweeeee, who's there and ready to take things into control. But she gets taken down, and that is a huge pick. Major Courtney dropping AbiPiinK is going to give them a solid 10-15 seconds of free time.
Now, this is the bit where the subs are going to start pulling their hair out a little bit here, because the transition over towards the hill is so hard if you're a sub player. Merky, what in the... Is that hipfire bullet that just hit a string, managed to catch Nicole out? Either way, able to get one, but those blue arrows have solidified themselves inside the hill. Courtney's going to be locking down any sort of middle map transition that Vortex Scarlets try and throw at them. The shots from Valaweeeee a little bit wayward, but the second time of asking are not, as she rips Courtney off of that one. Kay's going to be left a little bit alone in towards dumpsters here. Nice shots to take down one. And one player that was weak. Mel's out the back as well. So looking to try and trade out. And Kay's found herself on a 5 streak, so needs to try and play her life. She's actually got full streaks here as Kay through those kills on the hill. So we'll keep an eye on her to see potentially when she tries to invest them.
Yeah, this is going to be important, possibly not in this hill P4. It's going to be a tricky one. Nice from Vortex Scarlets to be able to get round those spawns and get those picks. So I was surprised if she doesn't hold on to that cruise for a little bit longer. Not the best hill to do, and Merky is just unstoppable right now. She needs a urine test. She is absolutely flying right now. Valaweeeee on the back of the pickup truck, trophy down, not going to get naded out. And with trophy system, useless. But yeah, big plays. And you're right about those ARs just being able to hold down just as the team about to push in. They've got themselves a solid bit of time, nearly tie things up. Major 86 plays 80. And it's big plays from X-Force Royals. How much time are they going to be able to get, though, realistically, before the push comes to them?
I don't know how much scrap time's left, but Mel was just toying with the idea of at least pushing it out a little bit. Nice couple of kills coming through from Kate, who's slowly starting to work her way back into this series. Another one for her, 15 and 7. Going on the hunt for another one. Checking the corners, nobody to be found. Oh, there's a free one. She just literally kisses one player on the lips as she runs around the corner and runs away again. So it's going to be a case of now trying to bully themselves in towards the hill. Courtney with the pistols able to get a pick. It should be traded out by Valaweeeee, so it's going to be a little bit of a messy affair inside the time. And it will still be Vortex Scarlets able just to get those final picks, at least for now. You can see that Nicole absolutely flies in. The team shots are going to shred her, though, with no remorse. And Valaweeeee, again, another quick trade there. So if you're looking over towards the likes of Kate, you're looking to try and keep this one going, perhaps, because if they slow down a little bit, you just feel as though Vortex Scarlets might just keep this momentum going.
I mean, it's been absolutely non-stop. They've just absolutely terrorized this point, but Vortex Scarlets held firm and managed to almost bring this back to a tied game, 114 to 102, as we see that next rotation, P1, drop into that central point, somewhere where X-Force Royals have been very, very fortunate so far. And they've managed to get a lot of time, not fortunate, sorry. They've managed to do well on this P1, and Kay is just going to be there to try and get the picks. He's going to try and retransition across and come round the back a little bit to try and surprise those players. Timing, could it be on his side? Yeah, she manages to get a pick on Merky, but Valaweeeee is just going to hold strong and just soak up some time, making it a 10-second game. Not yet really being able to just see things over the line. Major, this has been largely the problem in this hard point. They just cannot tie it up and get into the lead.
Yeah, 10 points separating them doesn't seem like a lot. And the question is, when are they going to just start to put a bit more of an influence over towards the next hill? You can see that 2 players on the side of Vortex Scarlets getting ready, one of which is going to be Mel. One player in Leona falls. Kay, though, instantly straight back in the action, waiting for the reach out. Knows that there's a few players here. One for Kay, looking for another. Teammates there to help. Courtney's going for the chow. Baiting her out a little bit. She needs to try and make these trades quickly, though, because the regen's going to come through if she's a little bit slow with it. And unfortunately, she's just a little bit too slow on that occasion. Nicole going to look to try and redeem herself over towards the point. But at the moment, she's really struggling at 6 and 18. If she's able to get back in this game, Pabs, this is probably X-Force Royals' game for the taking.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I think with Vortex Scarlets, that 10-second where they couldn't tie things up is like a very difficult 10 seconds. But now they've managed to breach it. This could be a completely different game. Vortex Scarlet's on the ascendancy. AbiPiink's movement has been immaculate as well. She's done so well holding that front kind of container area. Just incredible plays from it. And right now she has been a problem for X-Force Royals in this map. And this slight turn and lead that they've taken, Major, has changed the game completely.
Yep. Big kill from Valaweeeee over towards the new hill. She's got a trophy, and she's going to use it. Down it goes, and now it's just a case of can they watch the cross of those players looking to try and push through the front side of Calf. Keep an eye on Leona, though, out the back. Oh, but that's a good kill there that comes through from Amara, so she's going to have absolutely no impact. But, ooh, Courtney whizzes round. Hip fire looks good. With one player being weak, Merky's going to go down, laying prone. And it will now be... Wow. Holy crispiness.
Valaweeee's shots.
Yeah, just takes Leona's head clean off her shoulders. And they are just starting to bundle in towards the bins there as it's getting a little bit messy. You've still got number 1 in K going all the way around the back. If she's going to do it, she's going to need to do it quickly, though. There's going to be a lot of players now alongside her. SMG out, 1 for K. Abby's there for the taking as well. If the shots are just clean enough, not about on that occasion. And now she's ready in towards the new hill. And this is good work from K, but just needed a little bit of help.
Yeah, this is going to be huge as well because all those blue arrows have got a lot of geography, a lot of ground to cover before they can get in. It is only a 25-second game, but this is going to be a difficult nut to crack. They've got to come at this from a few different angles and win their goal fights. Are Vortex Scarlets ready, though? The shots go in. It's going to be that first blood in that hill going the way of K, but Amara and AbiPiiNK are there to back things up. And again, those blue arrows just can't make it in. It's going to be number 3 in Nicole, who was waiting for that support, and it is not going to come. So this is going to be an easy 200-point turnover for the girls of Vortex Scarlets as they absolutely dominate this latter stages of this third rotation, apologies. And we do see a couple of skulls, but again, we're just at that point where it's potential scrap time that is only going to be available to the X-Force Royals. And if the spawns do go the way of Vortex Scarlets, Major, this could be game over for the team in blue.
They're desperately flying. Mel's going to absolutely wig Leona there with the C9. Stun check in is going to be good, probably with some information. Nice shots again from Mel. Not going to be enough, though. Abby's still got a bit of work to do in and around the hill. There's the first for it. And keep an eye on Leona because she's working a pinch here. This might be big if she can get a couple. There's 1. Got to be quick. There's 2. Looking for the 3rd. Pistol's out, but it's not going to be enough. And now, last man standing, or last woman standing, should I say, is going to be Mel. So that time is ticking away, and they are desperately going to be flying towards her to try and get her off the time, but she's not going to shift anytime soon. She does go down eventually. Leona with 1, Leona with 2. Ooh, Leona with 3, doing her absolute utmost to drag them through the mud in this one. You've still got Kay doing so well. Nicole's struggles still continue, but she's got to try and stay alive.
Yeah, with 111, though, Nicole has been a bit of a hill kitten, but not enough. But this is still a 55-point game, 20 seconds needed from Vortex Scarlets. But X-Force Royals are back on the kill. They've got themselves a solid bit of control, and they can potentially bring this back to, a 35, 45-point game. But you can see that kill feed going largely the way of the team in Scarlets. And again, this comes down to this 4th rotation P1 where X-Force Royals have been successful. Kay in particular has been amazing, but she's not going to get that big. AbiPiiNK goes absolutely off. 24 and 23, a girl who has controlled so many hard points in this series. But is it going to be enough? Kay trying to break through it again. This cannot get it over the line, Major. 12 seconds required for the team Vortex Scarlets, but X-Force Royals are not going down without a fight.
Tay gets 2. Can she get the 3rd? Oh my god, she can! She's mopping up, but she needs help. Merky's going to get a big 2-piece. They're still on the time, though. They just can't seem to shift these blue arrows off the point. SpeedyNicole, she's struggled, but look at the time that she's accumulating. Can she get the kill? Oh, it's a huge kill from Nicole, and now they're going to try and mop up everyone else around the time. Kay is on. Now it's just the rotation. Can they get these opening picks? These are the big ones. Kay, she's been so good all map long. She's going on the hunt. She's going on the chase. Flies around the corner. 2 go down. They are on the time now, and those blue arrows are all around the point.
Yeah, this is going to be so difficult for Vortex Scarlets to break this down. They're going to need to win all their individual gunfights, and that is not good start. Courtney absolutely dominates Amara. We can see the kill feed going back and forth. It isn't anyone's kill right now. The blue arrow still with the spawns, able to dive right back on. They are 18 points off taking this to a tied series from a 100-second deficit at one point. This has been impeccable play from X-Force Royals, and Kay dragging them through 43 and 26. She's only 7 kills off, driving 50 kills in an hard point.
Oh, no.
This is insane performance, but AbiPiinK Major is back on the ball.
How left is long on the scrap time? That's the question. We can't see it, but the girls can, and surely they're seeing it to the point where that is going to be it, and that is going to be game. The squad wipe, unfortunately, for X-Force Royals is going to mean that their time in the winners bracket is now officially up to 50 to 29, and it's just one of those perhaps where you think if they didn't give themselves too much to do, that would have been their map for the taking. We'll see Kay in the final kill cam. Shock horror 43 and 24. It wasn't enough though for her team to get this over the line, but ridiculous plays here from Kay and her team with a performance to be proud of. It will be Vortex Scarlets though able to progress, where they will face Team AbiPiinK in that next bracket.
Oh, man. Well, you know, for so long in that hard point, like, Vortex Scarlets couldn't break this, like, 10-second deficit. Like, every time they got 10 seconds reached, they just got blown away. And then as soon as they got past that like, sticking point, as soon as they got those 10 seconds, tied the game and went into the lead, they never looked like losing it. And, you know, until the very end, when X-Force Royals and Kay in particular went absolutely huge. But what an incredible performance! You know, you know, it's TJ Haley stuff, isn't it? Drop 60, loses the game, 43 kills and 27. It's wild to think that you've lost the game after such a performance. But Vortex Scarlets, you know, they look great against Strix, and now they've looked good against the X-Force Royals. And as much as we may think that Abby and Ems and that might be the favourites, these have got to be close to putting them under some kind of pressure.
Well, replays on the screen for you guys to see at the end of that one. What a map, what a series between those two teams, it must be said. But it will be Vortex Scarlets who will progress through the winners bracket, and X-Force Royals will drop down into the losers brackets, and that is going to be the game that I do believe we follow against Crispy's Valkyries. So what we'll do is we'll show the maps after the end of the replays for you guys to see. Just confirmation of that one in the end. Vortex Scarlets taking the win, but yeah, 3-1 in the series. Looked very good at the opening stages for X-Force Royals, but unfortunately it kind of fell away for them. 6-3 in the search to Vortex, 250-180, and then 250-29. So what we'll do, guys, because we do have one more series before we go to bed. I'm joking. Before we get back on COD, is going to be the matchup between X-Force Royals and the Crispies Gals. So what we'll do, we'll throw it to a break, guys, and when we come back, we will have that losers bracket game, which, remember, will be a best of 3, so a slightly shorter one. The girls have got to come out absolutely flying in that one, but we'll throw it to a break, and when we come back, we'll have that on your screen.